Hello, everyone. We'll be getting started here in a few seconds. Okay, we're about to get started here. I just want to make sure my audio is good and everybody can hear me. So for those who are online, if you could maybe send me a quick chat message, make sure my audio is coming through clearly. I appreciate that. All right, great. All right. All right, well, thank you everybody for joining us here. We're going to walk through a few basic steps on how to best leverage the offrs.com platform, and then we're going to dive into some best practices that we've learned from a lot of the agents that have been using our product for a couple of years now. And of course, if you have any questions, please post them in the questions window so that I can kind of address them either during or at the end of our session here, so that we can make sure I at least get to anything that my mind has skipped over that you guys are very interested in. All right. So first steps. I'm going to walk through how to use our platform at a high level. I know most of you have probably taken the training, but I'd like to put my own flavor on how to best leverage our platform and to kind of talk about the key components of it. I know the last thing that most people want to do is learn an entirely new platform. I think our platform is relatively simple if you just have a couple of tips and tricks on what to access and how to use it, and then you can get using our data pretty quickly. Then I want to also focus on how to launch campaigns, and a campaign is obviously using our data to communicate to homeowners, and we offer support for a variety of different channels, whether it be email or mail or voicemail, online advertising, etc. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to spend the majority of our call today talking about best practices, how to really come up with some clever ideas and very practical and proven ideas that we've seen work over and over with our existing clients. But before we get into that, I just want to kind of get through the basics, just in case anybody here hasn't gone through the basic training. So obviously, the one thing that you'll hear over and over is smart leads and smart data. They're basically one and the same, but this is where we've basically taken your entire territory and identified who's most likely to sell we scored everybody from 0 to 100, but the ones that you want to kind of focus on are above 70. Now, depending on your territory, you might have 25, 30% of your properties that are scored over 70. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't target people. You could target people over 80. You can target people over 60. 70 is just kind of our line that we draw in the sand to say, if you target everybody over 70, you're going to have good results. Now, if you want to do certain campaigns that have a higher cost, like a direct mail campaign, and hit people who are scored over 90, that's a great use of our data. But you want to make sure that you're not just targeting people who are scored 100, because you need to cast a wide enough net to allow our predictive algorithm to work. So, make sure that every campaign that you run, has at least a few hundred people in it, so that, you're getting a broad brush. So whether you're focusing your direct mails on over 90, your emails over 60, or your online advertising over 70, however, you choose to do it based on budget, that's the way to do it. Now, of course, on our side, what we're doing is we are actually running our own verification campaigns to these homeowners scored over 70 to not only verify our data and to improve our algorithm, but also identify any hand raises that might come along the way saying, yes, I actually am thinking of listing, and they engage with one of our campaigns, whether it be our call center that's reaching out doing surveys, or whether it be our home value report that we're doing through Facebook and Google. We're doing that on the side to help improve the accuracy of our algorithm to make sure we meet the verification that we need to hit that accuracy percentage. But also, the happy result of that is you'll get more information about homeowners that respond to us, and you'll see that in their profile if they answer a survey, et cetera. The thing to remember is you have to make sure you have a clear campaign that's hitting your smart leads. We get data from so many different providers, and here's the list of the primary ones that we work with. And so you have to understand that all these data providers, we've taken consumer data, property data, contact data, and compiled it all into our database and put it and provide it to you. Many of these providers you can actually access real time through our software. If you need to do a quick update on contact information when you're looking at a person's profile, you can request more data. So all this information and data is being put in to make sure those smart leads are as highly as accurate as we can. And we're also trying to get the best contact information we possibly can from those smart leads as well. So we have over 8 phone providers, over 12 email providers. So again, trying to get you the information you need to improve that connection rate. And then of course, the reason smart leads are so powerful is because we're dramatically reducing the number of people that you have to market to get that multi-touch campaign going, but still preserving a high accuracy at the end of the day. The reality is marketing requires multiple touches. You can't just send one marketing piece and expect somebody to remember you, and you may not hit them at the right time. We typically hit our scores, and when we are scoring people and we identify people, we're typically somewhere between 90 to 180 days before they list. So when your marketing starts to work, it's going to ultimately, you want to make sure that you're 5, 6, 7 touches at that 90-day period, so they've seen your brand multiple times, they can engage with you, and ultimately you catch them at the right time. There's still that window of opportunity that you got to make sure that you're doing your campaigns, and we'll talk about best practice campaigns later. And as I mentioned, what we're doing behind the scenes is our own verification of our data and our scoring, and also to help boost any homeowner that might raise their hand and say, hey, yes, I actually am thinking of listing right now or in the next 6 weeks or something like that. And we're also calling all the numbers to not just verify the numbers that we've got from our other data providers, and we're also doing email campaigns, but we're also uploading these lists into Facebook to create custom audiences. And so we're really sitting there massaging and improving the data alongside you. But this does not mean that you shouldn't be doing your own marketing. That's why we're going to talk about that later in the presentation, because you absolutely need to be hitting these smart leads and embedding them into your marketing today. And if you're thinking right now, Rich, I am not doing any marketing today, no problem. Well, I'm going to show you some really cool ways to leverage our data and to quickly get impact. And if you are doing marketing, great, that's awesome. But let me talk about how you can easily embed our smart data and even run side-by-side campaigns to show you how powerful smart data is. But as I mentioned, you need to push your brand to these homeowners. The most important thing is getting your face, your name, your value prop in front of these homeowners. Now you have their data, you have their information. We've given you multiple channels on how you can leverage that. And so it's really just a matter of maximizing your budget, aligning time, and finding the resources you need in order to make it happen. Now, some of this can be done all through our platform, and I'm going to talk about that. And some of this can be done through existing tools that you might already use. You know, you can extract our data and download it and use it any way you want to, or you can use some of the things that we've done in our platform if you don't happen to have those tools ready available. So again, trying to make sure that this data is put into motion. That's the most important thing. It's not to sit back and wait for us to do the work. What we can guarantee is we're going to be looking at our data, scoring our data, verifying that data, and hitting our accuracy rate to make sure that you, when you're launching those campaigns, that dollar for dollar is going further than your competition, and more importantly, you're first in the door. So let's talk a little bit about the platform now that we understand the power of the data. The platform is really easy. There's really two things you need to understand about the platform: that you can easily access the search screen and go through all the smart leads right then and there. And secondarily, you can download that information if you're going to use a third-party tool to reach out to do something. So if you're going to do a direct mail, or you're going to do some sort of email blast, or you have a, you know, if you're using MailChimp or Constant, whatever you're currently using as a tool that you might want to use our data for, you can do that. Now, we also offer within our platform the ability for you to do mass email, mass text, mass voicemail, and send out direct mail, etc. But again, it's finding the best of both worlds here. You know, if you're going to do a mailer to thousands of people, you're better off working with your current direct mail provider, getting the best rate. They already have your creative. You just have to download our list and send it off. If you don't have an email marketing system, then you go ahead and use ours until you find a reason to buy another one, because you can send through our system pretty much unlimited, thousands of emails a month. So you should be good to go. So find the right channel, find the right tool, and make sure that you're up and running and doing that. And there's videos within our platform that show you how to do that. And again, I'm not going to go into the details of the platform today. We offer free training, unlimited training. You can get a full deep dive into our platform, and both through videos, both through our help desk, and also through online training. Today, I really wanted to focus on best practices because I'm hoping that most of you have already gone through that training. But searching smart data is really easy. On the left side, you can search by territory if you have multiple territories, search by agent if you have a team. But the two things you want to focus on is search by tag and search by status. So status is essentially just your pipeline, right? It's hot, warm, cool, new, and nurture. So the way we define that is hot being something that you maybe talked to and they've highlighted the fact they were thinking of selling. You want to mark them hot so you can follow up with a different kind of campaign. Warm might be somebody that's thinking of selling in the 6 to 12 month rate, or might be even considering doing other things that you want to make sure you stay on top of. And cool is essentially everybody else that we're going to be at the top of the funnel, that we're going to continue to nurture or continue to work, but not nurture as heavy as perhaps the hot and the warm. And then of course, new is anybody that we've added to the system new, that has been scored highly recently or added to the system and never existed before. And then nurture is another one where you want to maybe be more active with that nurturing group. That this could be somebody that, you know, could be a group of smart leads that you want to continue to stay on top of, that haven't really identified them as hot or warm, but you want to stay on top of. Again, leveraging these statuses is to kind of make sure you're organizing your pipeline, if you will. And then tags gives you the capability of using our existing tags or even creating your own tags to kind of track each individual. So if you want to tag somebody, anything you want, you can kind of make sure you can slice and dice your list that way. And you can easily download or save any search that you do so that you can, if you want to run a quick campaign, you can do so. Again, you can save a search and launch a campaign right within the offrs platform, or you can save a search and download it and put it to a third-party tool and make it happen there. You have the best of both worlds there. But I think it's very important to understand that this is really the screen you're going to live on for the most part. You're going to slice and dice the data, get it down to a list of people that you want to run a campaign to. And then, of course, if you're clicking on somebody, you can add notes and do all the things you need to keep track of. But it's very important that ultimately you understand how to use this search screen. And then we also obviously encourage you to track activity for two reasons. One, you want to make sure that you are tracking touches, because we basically total up your touches. And the reason why we do this is because when we look at this and, you know, we're talking to clients and they're saying, you know, well, I'm not performing at the level I want to, or it's been 30, 60 days and I'm not seeing a lot of activity. We always like to run a real quick report to see what your average touch per client is. And you can track touches a couple ways. You can track a touch manually by simply going into the account, or like for example right here, and telling us that you sent an email or text message. Or when you do a mass campaign, we automatically track those touches for you. And so these are things that you can do, on a mass or on an individual level. The goal should be that you should be touching every smart lead at least 10 times in the first 6 months. And the reason, and this could be a variety of types of touches. It could be 2 direct mail campaigns, 4 email campaigns, online ads, and you can mix it up. But ultimately, you want to make sure they're seeing your brand numerous times. That's kind of a bar that's been set as far as making sure your brand is being seen. And of course, hitting those smart leads, you can identify those smart leads as you wish. But if if your budget is limited and you only want to do a direct mail to 100 people, then pick the top high-scoring 100 people. So you can really massage the data to meet your budget, but also make sure we continue to hit them with quality touches. And if you have other ways that you want to organize the data, that's why tags exist. If you want to start marking people as a different tag, let's say you mark people as a FSBO or something like that, or a school PTA, you can send them different messages, you can send them different campaigns. You don't have to do that, but we obviously, if you are in there and you can identify people differently, your marketing will do a better job of converting. And ultimately, all we're really caring about here is tracking activity, using the smart leads, making sure your brand is being seen 10+ times to really oversaturate and get your name out there so that these people who are most likely to sell are going to see your brand multiple times. And then when they finally make that decision, you're one click away or you're one card away, etc. One of the more powerful ways that you can generate lists is saving your search. So this is, again, using the platform to your power, is saying, okay, give me everybody who I've, that the last touch was in the last 30, I haven't touched in 30 days, that is marked nurture. So you can search for things, and once your search results come up, you simply go over there and hit save search, and then you can download those results. It's real easy to do. Again, this allows you to kind of do what I consider an omni-channel or multi-channel campaign. You might send a direct mail, a follow-up email, and something else after that, drop a voicemail, again, to get that permanent display of your brand over that critical period of time. All right, so that's the 2 basic overviews of our data, the importance of focusing on smart data, and secondarily, just the basics of the platform. Don't get intimidated by the platform. It's simply a way for you to access our data, see what we're doing. As you click on people, you'll see survey results, you'll see activity that they've done. You might even see some notes from our call center. So we're doing stuff in the background, but that doesn't mean you should be waiting for us. We're doing this to enhance and complement what you should be doing, which is using this data, launching and accessing our platform to build out these campaigns that we're going to talk a little bit about right now. So a campaign, to put it very simply, is talking to the prospect in some form or fashion. Now, to make it easier for you to understand what we consider best practices, we kind of look at it 2 ways. So anytime you're marketing to anybody, you want to make sure that your first touch, and your first impression are aligned with the disposition of the prospect. If this is somebody that that has, that you've already met, or that they're part of your sphere, or you might just know them because you've been in the neighborhood that long, then you can treat them differently. You can send them different kind of marketing. But in general, when you're talking about your farm and your neighborhood that you're going after that you don't know, you want to make sure that you follow a kind of a 2-step process to give that permission touch, if you will, to let them know who you are. And you also kind of want to make sure that first touch and first impression is in positive light. It's not solicitation. It's, hey, how you doing? It's relationship building. And I realize this is unique because many times when you talk about lead generation and you talk about the process of going after a lead, you're used to perhaps buyer leads coming through a form that have shown interest in a property. And so then you're kind of following up, almost a little bit further down the pipe. What we're talking about is really aggressive farming and smart farming, where you're going to introduce your brand. You want to make sure that first touch and first impression are aligned. So if they start seeing your advertising, they get something in the mail, you provide them some, a door opening to make the introduction. That's the key to a first touch and first impression. And we're going to give you 8 ideas on how to do that in a minute. But it's important that those first touches and that first impression is minimal solicitation, they're going to see that your footer of your email that you're a real estate agent. They're going to hear that you can open up and say, hi, my name is Jim. I'm a local realtor in town, and I always like to reach out to neighbors to get to know them. You can they understand what real estate agents do. You don't have to over solicit. The most important thing is selling yourself, selling your brand, and selling the relationship. And that's what you'll hear this over and over in this presentation about that, because I can't stress that enough. You know, there's an art to marketing, and this is what we're going to talk about today. But when you go under campaigns, you'll see a few things to make it easy. Depending on what kind of campaign you want to launch, we provide you links to go launch those campaigns within the platform, or instructions on how to do it with your existing tool set, and also a quick link to download a list to launch. So this is one area in the software that we've recently updated to allow you to easily launch some sort of campaign. And as you can see here, your first touch is what we call kind of the mass touch. This is your kind of touching all the smart data leads. You can do that through direct mail, through Facebook, or through Google advertising. The first impression is the first time that you actually are communicating one-to-one. You can do that through email, call campaign, voicemail. And again, you're communicating in a way, or one-to-many or one-to-one, with a very soft approach to the relationship with it. So when you launch a campaign, it's real simple. You click on campaigns. You can pick out which campaign you want to launch. You want to do a first touch, first impression. And then, of course, you can choose what channel you want. And first touch is what I mean by that is the first time somebody actually sees your brand. It could be an advertisement. This does not mean that you talk to them. It's basically the first time they start seeing your brand, and they start kind of, you have something to basically build a relationship on. The first impression is the first time they get something from you and they feel like it's personal. They feel like it's personal. You could do a one-to-many voicemail drop, but it still comes across like a personal voicemail on their side. And those kind of in that kind of context, same thing with email. You can do a one-to-many email, but they see it's a personal email. And we kind of stress the non-solicitative approach allows you to be more informal, allows you to open the door to a relationship, and it will increase your response rate and build better momentum. If they're thinking of selling or buying a home or whatever their thought process is, and you're able to connect with them, you're the obvious person they're going to reach out and put on your list to do that. Now, as you build that relationship, you can be tougher and tougher. You know, you can obviously do more solicitative type messaging, but the first couple of times you want to make sure that that first impression is solid. And then you can either download lists that you've either saved, and we also have some lists that we've created that are standard, and you can launch any one of these campaigns pretty quickly. Again, whether it's through our platform or if you already have another platform that you prefer. Let's say you have a phone dialer you prefer, you can download the list for the call campaign. Let's say you have an email campaign software you prefer, you can download a list. Or if you need to do a one-to-many email campaign, you can do it through our platform. It's only a couple clicks here to launch any sort of campaign that you want. And of course, if you do select to launch a campaign through us, you know, email, voicemail, letters, direct mail, text messaging, you can do that all through the platform. And part of your monthly allowance of credits will be used. And of course, again, if you're doing a very large direct mail campaign, we're probably not the best service provider for that. That's what direct mail houses do. But if you're going to do a one-to-one direct mail or direct mail to your hot leads, it might be 10 or 20 people. Sure, you can do a customized direct mail right through our system. So again, it's about using the right tool at the right time. Now we're going to get into the meat of it, which I think most of you, the reasoning for attending today is about, okay, now let's talk about real best practices. How do you really put our smart data into action? So the first step, which is the obvious, is if you're doing any marketing whatsoever, you need to integrate our smart data. If you're doing any direct mail, I highly encourage you to direct mail our smart leads, maybe more often or maybe side by side and compare the results. We've had numerous agents that have done this over the past 2 years and have seen the results, dramatic improvement over the direct mail, not just in cost savings because they don't have to mail as much, but they're able to get more responses in general. Online targeting, if you're doing any Facebook or Google advertising, you need to download our audiences so that you can incorporate them in your advertisements so your ads are being seen by the right person at the right time. Instead of blasting out to an entire area and losing clicks and impressions to people who have no interest in selling their home, you can really target by creating online audiences with our smart data. And we have an entire video and a guide that can walk through the details of how to do that. Or of course, you can always reach out to our support team and they can walk you through. But this is probably one of the most powerful things that we do. Social media is another thing. A lot of times we'll attend the social media accounts to some of these homeowners. And so as you're going through top scoring homeowners, sending a Facebook message over Messenger or putting a post on their Facebook wall or their LinkedIn profile, these are very powerful ways to build a relationship. And saying, hey, I live in the same neighborhood as you. I'd love to, grab some coffee sometime, or I'd love to learn more about what you do. Again, this is just a game of putting people that you don't know into the bucket of people that you do know, and there's multiple ways you can do that. Social media is the ultimate icebreaker because everybody expects that they're going to get unsolicited contact through Facebook, through Twitter, through LinkedIn, and you're going to know a lot more about them because you can look at their profiles. Email newsletter, if this is something you're currently doing, segment out and look at using our neighborhood data and our emails to add to your list. Especially if you have multiple territories, you need to expand your reach. You might be emailing the same people over and over, your referral base and your spheres, but introduce other people to what you have, especially if you have something of value like market reports or interesting blog, etc. And voicemail drops, if you're doing voicemail drops. If you're not, you should start doing those because especially around holidays or end of month, especially where the market, the way it is, a lot of people are interested. Let them know you exist. Let them know that you're the expert. Voicemail is a very powerful, intimate way to do that. And then, of course, phone campaigns. If you're doing any dialing campaigns, whether it be surveys or introduction, you can use, again, our phone numbers to add to your list more effectively and then track your progress. Again, this is not just about outreach. This is about tracking as well, because you have to hit that critical point where you have multiple touches out to your entire farm, and that is when listings begin to occur. They don't occur if you just do one touch every 3 months. They don't occur if you're waiting on something else to magically happen. You just have to put these campaigns in play, put your brand out there, and see how it works, and then refine it over time. So those are the obvious ones. Integrate into currently what you're doing. But let's talk about some things that you may not be doing. We call these best practices, and we're going to be expanding on this over time. But here are 9 things that you can do, concepts, if you will, on how to really push a campaign out there. Because the obvious question is, Rich, great, I get it. Okay, I've got emails, I got phone numbers, I got addresses, I know I got links in social media. I get it. I understand the basics. But what do I tell these people? What do I say to these people? Well, good news is you have every opportunity to not only seal the deal as being first in the door and getting in front of these people ahead of time because of the predictive analytics, but you have an opportunity to really redefine how you market to your farm, because you now have the power of our data, our contact information, and that's a massive asset that you can take anywhere and leverage it. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But first, let's talk about the first type of campaign. When we talk about, first let's talk about how our campaigns are really focused. And I talked about this before, but we're talking about building trust. We're talking about leveraging your data that we've given you. We're talking about creating a great first impression. And we're talking about enabling you to do follow-up so that you can continue to market to them via other mediums that don't cost as much money. So these are the general guidelines that we built these kind of campaign types on. And of course, the right type and tone is the key. So when you talk about first touch, it's about branding. It's about putting your name out there. It's about leveraging the data that we've given you to really have a soft branding message. Building your personality through these mediums is very key. Having a clever call to action or a clever, pitch is also key. And this is where this is a whole new world where you can leverage Facebook and Google and even if, and again, consistent and direct mail to do that. The first impression is when you actually, the person feels like you're reaching out to them as a one-to-one, whether it's the voicemail drop or email or a letter or even a direct mail piece or sending out a property report, whatever it might be. This is the relationship starter. And it needs to be a giving touch, meaning you're not asking them to give you something, you're offering them something of value, or you're offering them a token of kindness or something that helps them understand the value of their asset or understand the market trend. You're giving them a gift, and in return, you're expecting them to allow you to continue to talk to them. And then following those two, then it's really just about nurturing and follow-up and getting them into the funnel and working your farm that way. So let's talk about campaign idea number 1. And this is the one that we've been doing for the past 3 years, and a lot of agents continue to do. And it's a very powerful call to action campaign. It gets good response. This is what we do online to gather surveys and to validate our data. But we also give you the tools to do your own custom smart site and launch a home value campaign on your own. And you can point your own domain to it. You can link it on your website. You can put it at the bottom of your emails. whatever you want to do with it. You can also market it on Facebook and Google to drive more traffic to it. And what you're doing here is basic lead capture, but you're also providing, some home valuation reports showing that you're the expert in the area. And this is a great value add to pushing that out there as a way to engage people with some sort of campaign. And now, again, it's one thing to point people to your basic website and say, hey, come and visit my website. The problem there is if it's a neighborhood, if it's somebody who owns a house in your neighborhood, they're probably not looking to buy a house somewhere else, or especially in the same neighborhood. They're probably, if they're anything, looking to sell or refer you business. So by pointing them to more of a structured campaign site, like a smart site, you're able to engage them at a much deeper level. They might go to your website and go, oh, it looks like you have some homes for sale in the same neighborhood I own already. They're not going to get a ton of value out of that. That's one of the reasons why we use the home value campaign. Campaign idea number 2 is one of my favorite because it works every time. We use it ourselves for our own marketing, and I've seen agents kill it with this. And essentially, it's really simple. Events happen all the time, and now you can create your own event, like an open house, a happy hour at your office, or even a holiday party. Or if you're not one of those event organizers and you don't really necessarily have the budget or time to do that, then find another event in your area. If it's a charity event or a local school event or a business networking event, everybody is having an event at some point, and you can leverage that. You can piggyback on existing events by co-marketing with it. And what's great is you can actually reach out to the event organizer and say, hey, my name's Jim. I'm a local real estate agent in the area. I'm looking to get connected. I happen to have a database of 5,000 people that I've been nurturing over the course of a year, 2 years, and I'd like to be able to promote your event, and I'd love to be able to help you drive people to that event and co-brand it with you. And then the person's gonna be like, great, that's gonna be, I want more people to my event. So it's a win-win for both of us. And of course, the next question they're gonna ask you is, well, what's in it for you? And you say, well, no, I'm gonna put my branding on it. I just wanna be known. And hey, if you can mention me at the event and say that I helped sponsor it, or if I can set up a table and ask people and answer questions about whatever, it depends on the concept of the event and what's going on. You might be able to, connect with people. It's ultimately just trying to get in front of people, leveraging the data that you already have. And an invite to an event, whether it be on Facebook or Eventbrite, is easy to do, free to do, and you can promote the heck out of it using our database. You can upload our emails and right into Eventbrite, and it will send out the invite for you. And again, if it's a cool event, like everybody's into it, like a school homecoming or a local charity event, you look like the local expert because you're connecting people. And now they're like, oh, hey, I got invited by Jim. Yeah, he's the expert. He's like the best realtor in town. And that's what you start hearing. And you could do this all the time. You could be, always on the top of, and they'll look at you, as the public will look at you, it's like, wow, this person's involved in everything. And the reality is that you have the golden goose. You have the ability to help these event organizers market their event. Nobody has that, and you have it. And that's what's great about the asset of that contact information that we've given you. And of course, you can also tie this into your voicemail. Yeah, hey, Rich, I love the voicemail drop. I want to drop 5,000 voicemails or 1,000 voicemails. But what do I say? Do I say, hi, my name's Jim, I'm a realtor, call me? No, because that's solicitation. It's not a great first touch. But hey, this is Jim, your local expert, your local realtor expert. I'd love to invite you to the Marketing on Main event this Friday. I'm sponsoring it, and we're really looking to have people come out and support local businesses. You went from a solicitation touch, which would turn people off, to a, wow, that was really nice of Jim to invite me to something, and I might go to that. So this is really just the difference between one side of marketing and the other, and this is what we're trying to encourage. Again, unlimited. There's probably hundreds of events that are happening in your neighborhood, and you simply need to reach out to those people and say, hey, you want me to help you promote this thing? Let me help you. Campaign 3, same basic concept, but instead of it being event focused, do a local business promo. We have one agent in Miami who's absolutely killing it with this. What he does is he's in a small suburban, he's in a neighborhood right outside of downtown proper, and there's a small little village with about 40 or 50 restaurants, retails that everybody goes to. It's just a very classic Americana type situation. There's about 4,000 or 5,000 homes in his farm. He had 80% emails, 70% phones, he has bought 4 or 5 territories from us. So he's got a pretty hefty database. And of course, he's nurtured his own database over time as well. He goes to the restaurants, which are mostly locally owned, and retail stores that says, hey, let's run a weekly promo. I'll co-brand it. Here's a local giveaway or a local 20% off, or get a free glass of wine if you come, eat on Thursday. And these restaurant owners are loving him. In fact, they're actually referring business to him because he's driving traffic to the restaurant by doing simple invites. And it doesn't have to be as fancy as what you see here with a 20% off coupon. I mean, if the restaurant happens to have this ability to take that coupons or promotions, great. They might just say, hey, download my business card and bring it to the restaurant. So now you've got your people who live in your neighborhood downloading your information and taking it to a restaurant, saying, yeah, I got this promo code, or I got this thing from Jim, the realtor, who says that I get a free appetizer. Is that true? Absolutely. Come on in. Jim's the best. And now you're building confidence and branding that is so permanently ingrained because you've given them something of value. Again, unlimited. You can promote this stuff on Facebook. You can promote it through an email blast. You could promote it through, and the restaurant might even start promoting it. You could get the restaurant involved, maybe put something on the window, Thursday nights, whatever it might be. This is what we're talking about with campaigns. And again, this could be service companies too. If you want to tie it into home, we've got one guy in, I think it's Chicago, Illinois, that has a really strong network of air conditioner repairs, electricians, pool maintenance, lawn maintenance. And he's built this network for his homeowners as a way to give more value to people who sold houses to. And so he's doing the same thing. He's saying, hey, I got all the homeowners' information, Mr. Air Conditioning Repair Company. Let's work a business. Anytime somebody new comes into town and refer a business to me, and vice versa, I'll help promote you. So you can really use this to build out your referral network as well. Again, you're killing two birds with one stone. You're introducing your brand with a very high value touch, and you're also building out a referral network and a bunch of friends that are ultimately going to pay back in dividends. And this is, again, the power of the data that you currently own. Campaign idea number 4. So, and oh, by the way, both of those, for campaign idea number 2 and 3, Eventbrite is free, Facebook marketing or Facebook event, posting an event on Facebook is free. And if you want to boost it, $20, $30 will go a long way, but you can upload and invite everybody from the list that we've already given you. So these are things that don't add cost. You have to do the work, but it's not that hard. I mean, it really isn't to post an event on Facebook or to go down and, hey, the next time you have lunch, take a couple people from your office, have lunch at a sushi place and say, hey, how would you be interested if I love your sushi here. I'd love to blast 5,000 people with a special. And of course he's going to say, are you kidding me? That'd be amazing. And then boom, you've got a new friend. Campaign idea number 4, survey campaign. This is amazing how this stuff works. We would have never have thought in a million years that people would be willing to fill out surveys, but people love to give you their opinion. And surveys are such a powerful tool in the psychology of marketing because you're marketing to somebody, but you're asking them to give you insight and input. So you're involving your neighborhood. This could be something as small as a survey based on some things that are going on in the neighborhood. It could be positive, it could be fun, it could be very serious, or it could be very broad. It could be surveys that are just in general. It could be a 1-question survey. It could be a 10-question survey. One of the things that we have a couple of our agents do all the time is they send out surveys about home, what people, that's very similar to what we do, but they did it on their own. They just sent out a survey that says, hey, are you happy with your home? Or, are you happy with the neighborhood? What is the likelihood of you doing upgrades? So they're really engaging in a home-oriented conversation, which is great because it complements their branding. But you don't have to do that. You could send out a survey that says, "Hey, if we're gonna raise $100 and repair the baseball field, would you want to participate in that?" Or, "Hey, the local school wants to know, how long are the lines that we're seeing? How can they improve this, or how can they make this better?" It could just simply be a survey for feedback. Again, putting your brand on it, showing people that you're the expert, and also showing people that you care about what they think. Again, very simple mass marketing concepts that create very intimate relationships with homeowners in your area. And when we're talking about 4,000 or 5,000 homes, perhaps, then you're talking about a large chunk of those people that are engaging with your campaigns are going to have you first in mind when they think about getting a real estate agent. And the other cool thing is you can share the results when the survey's done. And then most people will say things like, "Hey, man, I love that survey you did. oh man, it was so interesting to see what everybody else thought in the neighborhood. When are you going to do another one? And you can say, well, join my email newsletter or come to my website. So you can post the results on your website. And then when people hire you to find the house of the neighborhood, they're like, what was really great about your website is you didn't just show me the houses that were available to sell in the MLS. I clicked on your neighborhood tab and I saw all the surveys you do and how engaged you are with the neighborhood. That's what really sold us on the fact that you're a kick-ass neighbor, you're a kick-ass real estate agent. And again, all these things are going to help you grow your business, both on the buy and also on the seller side. Again, surveymonkey.com and typeform.com, very inexpensive. In fact, I think up to 100 survey results, they're free. So you could launch a survey, put in your email, blast it out, launch a survey, promote it on Facebook, and all these things can get you great results. Campaign idea number 5, basically back to basics. This is something that you already know and understand. This is nothing new. But I think one of the things you may not be doing is you need to branch out. The just sold and the just listed campaigns, very powerful. They still work. But direct mail is expensive. So have you really done this, the just sold and just listed campaigns on Facebook? And I'm not talking about taking a link and putting it on your personal profile on Facebook so only your Facebook friends can see. I'm talking about boosting that post to our smart leads. And we can show you exactly how to do that. It costs a minimal amount of dollars because you're only talking about 5, 6, 7, 100, 8, whatever the number of smart leads you have. So it's going to be a very small percentage, but it's going to be a highly targeted audience. And you're going to get multiple touches. They're going to see that ad multiple times. Again, we want those smart leads to look at your brand and go, wow, this guy just sold another house in our neighborhood. This woman's amazing realtor. I'm going to hire her when I'm thinking about selling. And it's real easy to do. You post it, you go to Boost, you upload our database. It's real simple. And then you boost it for 20 bucks, 10 bucks, and let it rip. And you should be doing this for every listing because it still works. You can do it with postcards too. Don't get me wrong. Do the direct mailers as well. But Facebook, it's like the digital postcard. They'll see it over and over, and then they can engage with it. They can comment on it. They can like it. You can drive them to the home value site and get more information from them and generate leads from it. This is really good stuff, and I want to make sure that you're comfortable in understanding the transition of what you might be doing today through direct mail can easily be translated to Facebook. Don't let it intimidate you, and if you are intimidated, email our support team. They'll walk you through the whole thing. Campaign idea number 6, email newsletter. I know a lot of you do email newsletters. I get it. Sometimes you're going to do some, couple blogs, check out the latest listings. Here's what I think the market's doing. That's awesome. Continue to do that. But also think about leveraging our database to enhance it. And also think about your email newsletter as the ultimate lead capture. So what I mean by that is this. All the other campaigns that I've talked about up until now, drive those people that respond to those campaigns and add them into your email newsletter. Think of your email newsletter as your catch-all. It's not specifically a campaign concept. It's a catch-all, meaning that everybody that you used to have to pay to do a direct mail to reach, everybody that you had to pick up a phone and call to reach, that now you have email access and text message access to, they add them to your email newsletter list so that they get the basic branding on a month-to-month basis. Because these campaigns that I've kind of talked about are very timely and are very unique, and they're very highly responsive, and you're going to get a lot of feedback on. But you want to make sure you have a baseline, something that's repetitive and consistent that constantly puts your name in front of them. And if you're already doing an email newsletter, awesome. Just make sure that you integrate some way of capturing those people that can sign up your email newsletter, make that part of every single campaign that we talked about today. And if you don't have an email newsletter program, you definitely have to set one up so you can capture people's emails, including and sending out quality information to make sure you're the expert of the area. Campaign idea number 7 is close to my heart because this is, in my opinion, the most powerful way to market yourself, bar none. And I know a lot of you believe the same thing I believe, which is cause marketing, which is about doing good, is the most powerful way for people to not just fall in love with you, but to get behind you and support you. And it can be something as simple, and this is literally a GoFundMe that one of our clients started right here. And it just blew my mind how simple of an idea, but how powerful of a marketing concept. And they ended up raising a ton of money, even though I think his GoFundMe was, like $100 or $200 or some low number, which is awesome because it's not about the money, it's about fixing the neighborhood. It's about investing in the place that you live. You end up raising a lot more than that, which shows you that people want to make their neighborhood a better place. People want to bond, and you're the conduit for that. You are the person that can step to that and say, hey guys, I can help you do this, right? I can not only get it started, I can spread the word. And you can see a campaign like this last for 30, 60 days and constantly be shared, liked, put on Twitter, and all that's going to just continually push your brand, your name. This person's awesome. Look what he's doing for the neighborhood. Nobody asked him to do that. Or look what she's doing for our neighborhood. Nobody asked her to do that. But look, and of course, the default, which is not a bad thing, is, hey, yeah, if they are looking to buy or sell a house, sure, because they trust you, they're going to reach out to you. But your intent is very pure. Let's go fix some fences at the ball yard. Let's go fix a pothole that that everybody complains about on the corner of 5th and Main. Whatever it is, let's paint over that graffiti on the church. It could be $50, $100, but pushing it out there and creating goodwill in your community, so powerful. And of course, I know a lot of you are with brokers and firms, and I'm sure many of you have donated charity for big causes. Like I give a lot to very large name charities. But I'm talking about more intimate. I'm talking about raising money, even for raising money to get the football team, local high school football team, New Jersey. It could be something that is so intimate to your neighborhood that it comes back to you tenfold and helps you grow your business. And I think, again, embrace this because, again, you have the tools to do this. You can go to GoFundMe.com. There's many other sites you can use. It's free to do. They take sure, like everybody else, like Kickstarter and other ones, they take a little bit of the cut for managing it. But the reality is most of it can go to the charitable cause that you're doing and promote it. Blast it out as an email. This image to me is like so personal because there's nothing fancy about this. You're simply just trying to fix the fences. And and that's what I'm talking about. This is about just investing in your neighborhood and benefiting from it because you're just an overall good person. And campaign idea number 8, honestly, if all these are just a little bit too much and you're not quite connecting the dots on how to do it, this works. Just inviting people for a cup of coffee. I realize time is valuable and this may not be the most efficient way of doing it, but it still works. People want to connect with their neighbors and people want to learn about, know about you, and pick a coffee shop and, say, hey, I'd just like to buy a cup of coffee and talk for 10 minutes, introduce myself. Because every person that you meet knows 10 other people on that street. And the odds are, at some point, it will favor you and to build out your referral network. But more importantly, you might even get a couple of listings from it. Just simply by connecting with your neighbors. Again, not the most efficient way. Everything I've talked about up until now is highly efficient. But let's say you do that GoFundMe campaign and you start getting people engaging, you start getting donations, and you suddenly see a donation from, somebody, Patty Smith, who donated $500. And you're like, whoa, that was a huge donation. And you look her up in our database and she owns a, 1.24 bedroom house and, she scored high on our algorithm. I think it would make sense to reach out to Patty and say, hey, you know what? That was really nice of you to donate $500. I'd like to buy you a cup of coffee. And that's how it works. You're connecting a couple of dots. You just need a little momentum. And next thing you know, Patty's going to look at you as the realtor of choice when she's thinking about either buying a new house, buying another house, or selling her house. And it's going to happen over and over. And your brand is only going to rise once that happens. Campaign idea number 9, content. I can't say enough about generating content and how valuable that is. Now, of course, a lot of you might be like saying, well, I'm not a writer. I don't do video. I'm not really big on social media. I don't like sharing my personal life with other people. I get all that. But it's not as difficult and not as consuming as you would think it would be. You just have to change your mindset a little bit. A great example is this. As you're driving to work, take pictures of your neighborhood, post them. It's real simple. Create a page if you don't want it to be integrated with your personal page. Although I believe a good balance is necessary. If you have a Facebook profile, use that as much as you use your page because you are your brand, whether you like it or not. Now, you don't have to go crazy with it and go Kardashian, but you should have a personality that goes above and beyond a post every 5 months, And again, it's not hard to do. Download the app, Instagram, Facebook. It's click a button, take a picture, put a clever little saying on there, post it. Build that content. Start driving that content. Again, you could use Facebook as a way to generate traffic for all the other ideas that we've talked about. But if you're doing something that's cool, an open house, anything else, make sure that you post about these things. It does matter. 10, 20, 30 people will see that. I mean, if you have more friends, maybe it's 100 people, 200 people. It's another touch that you're getting. So, and that content that you're creating can live on all these platforms. You don't have to log on to Twitter, log on to Facebook, log on to another system. You know, you can monitor and manage all this from one single place. In fact, you can do it all from Facebook and have it go on Instagram and Twitter at the same time. So these things can be set up. Again, if you're not used to doing this, if you're uncomfortable doing this, I get it. But again, this is the new world. This is where neighborhoods live. All Facebook is a digital farm. And we're, by uploading our audience and connecting with that farm and more intimately, boosting those posts, promoting events, doing giveaways with local businesses, raising money for local charity or local causes, this is going to create a conversation and a tone and a constant buzz around you and your brand. And that's the best way that you're going to ultimately get in front of these people. And of course, that's the quickest way to get to the conversation of, hey, the market's going pretty well right now. Are you thinking about selling? Are you thinking about investing? I can help you do that. So in conclusion, before I get to the questions, and if you have any questions at this point, please post them so I can get to them quickly because I know your time is valuable. Number one, use the smart data, not just for your own marketing, but enhance your marketing. I've given you 9 concepts today that you can take 1 or 2 of those and make a huge difference. And then don't forget how valuable the data you have is. You could literally go to any business in your entire county and walk in the front door and say, I'd like to help you market this product or this service or this charity or this effort that you've got going on or this event. And they will welcome you with open arms, and the opportunity will open up for you to co-brand and be there and be at the center of it. And it'll also allow you to leverage the data multiple times because there's only so many times you can send out an email that says, hi, my name is Jim, I'm a realtor, are you thinking of listing? Before people go, wow, is that all Jim has to say? No, you want to say, hey, this is Jim. We help prepare the ball field. Hey, this is Jim. I help lead the new fundraiser to get new jerseys for the women's hockey team. Hey, this is Jim. Would you like to get a cup of coffee? Thanks for donating the $100 to the team. Hey, this is Jim. Hey, come down to Friday barbecue at the local park. Be my guest. That's what you want to be known as, and that's smart. Data is the fastest way to get there. And you're all the while making sure that those relationships are prioritized by the likelihood of them selling. Maintaining multiple touches is key, and this is why we've given you multiple kind of campaigns. Don't just touch once, don't just touch twice, don't think 3 times, 4 times is enough. Get over 10, get up to 10, and by the 6th or 7th touch, usually you're going to have a pretty intimate relationship with somebody, email, text messaging. So at that point, you've got them. And think about that for a second. Think about your competition. If every other real estate agent in your neighborhood has to continue to direct mail people, has to depend on yard signs, has to depend on door knocking or dumb data, even if they have dumb data, versus you, over the course of a year, if you consistently do what I'm talking about, 10 touches over the course of a year, you'll have every single neighbor, high scoring or not, on email, on text message. And think about how quickly you're able to communicate with them and how quickly they're able to communicate back to you to win all those listings that are sitting there waiting for you to be first in line to. But if you don't do those things, you're not differentiating yourself. You're not putting yourself ahead of the competition. You are ahead of the competition now because you have this data. You just have to use it to put yourself way ahead of the competition. And of course, be consistent and patient. You know, unfortunately, marketing does take time. I don't care who you are. I've been doing this 25 years. It just doesn't happen overnight. Multiple touches, like a relationship, takes time to build trust. They need to see you in different lights. They need to see you on different channels. And you can earn that trust quicker with some of the campaign concepts I've talked about today. But it's still going to take time. And also, the reality is that today, if somebody's going to list tomorrow, they've already got their real estate agent in mind. You got to get there 90 days before they're thinking of listing in order to make sure you're first in the door. The predictive analytics will get you there, but you got to make sure your name is in front of them. And using these campaigns I've talked about today will do that. So again, I really want to emphasize, don't underestimate what you have. And when you start seeing people use it and want it, you'll start to understand the power of the communication channel you've created. Other people usually have to pay for that, or they certainly wouldn't even be able to do that. And if you can create success in your area, that success is going to make your business even more successful. And that's what gets me excited. when we talk about the leveraging data, etc. And before I get to the questions, finally, I know I just touched on a few things. I'm sorry I didn't go into too much detail on some of the campaign ideas. You can go on our website, you can log in, and there's instructions on how to do it. If you're lost, you can sign up for training. If you haven't gone through training, we'll do a deeper dive in that platform and show you how to use it. It's really not that difficult. And again, I don't care. You don't really need to log on the platform every single day. It doesn't have to be something that you, oh man, here's another platform. No, it's there to get access to the data for you to create a campaign, pick one, go with it, make it happen. It's in and out, but consistently in and out. You know, time block 1 or 2 hours a week where you hit 1 or 2 campaigns, and it will create a life of its own. And I think that's the key, is getting past that chasm. If you have any support issues, email support@offrs.com or go on the application and submit a ticket. Give us as much information as you can. Of course, we're here to help you, and any support issues you might have, we'll do our best to resolve quickly. And of course, we have a whole help desk that we have previous support tickets that we've posted and frequently asked questions and answers to that. And then there are videos that you can watch as well, in case that you don't want to attend the live training that can get you kind of started. So again, I want to make sure that you know that there's more out there, that if you need deeper support. Today I wanted to focus on getting you excited about the best practices. We've seen this stuff work, and you can sense that it makes all the sense in the world to use some of these campaigns I talked about today. Solicitation has its time and moment. The reality is that everybody knows what a real estate agent does. If I'm looking to buy or sell a house, I know I need a real estate agent. They're really selecting the best person that they like. They're selecting the person that they believe is committed, they trust to the neighborhood, that understands the neighborhood. That's what we need to position you as immediately. If you're not already there, you may already be there, and you can just leverage our data to expand it even more. So that's what really today was about. All right, so let's get to some of these questions. All right. Oops. Let me get to the questions. 2 seconds. And please post your questions as they come in. I'm happy to get to them. Yes, there are slides of you. I recorded this video as well, so I will definitely get to sending out this recording later for everybody.